Hello, my name is Yeji, otherwise known as ANdmadeco, here on YouTube and on Instagram. Today I have a regular episode of my finished objects, works in progress, as well as a few acquisitions at the end. Acquisitions I only have a little amount of that I want to share in this video because I spoke all about my Flock Fiber Festival acquisitions during the Flock recap video, which I'll definitely link to in the description. If you found me through the Flock recap video, thank you so much for being here. Thank you regardless. And thank you for all of the kind comments that you've left. Also linked to the Flock recap video, it pushed me over the 2,000 subscriber mark, so thank you so much. And I will be having a small giveaway at the end of the video or during this timestamp if you want to skip forward. As always, I'll jump right in, and I want to start off with what I'm currently wearing. This is the Mirror Cami by Skinny Dippin', who is Alex. But then I realized just this past week that a lot of people say skein of yarn, so she's probably skinny dippin', as in skinny dippin'. But because I've said skeiny dippin' for so long, because I pronounce it as a skein of yarn, I'm not sure which is correct, but because I've said skeiny dippin' so far, I think I'll just go forward with skeiny dippin' unless Alex objects to the pronunciation. So this is the Mirror Cami by Alex, and I test knitted this cami, and I think this tank top, the test deadline is August 29th, so I think it's at the end of August, so I'm guessing that it will be released sometime in September, but I'm not 100% sure on that, so I'll get back to you when it does release. I also uploaded a whole project video on this camisole, and because it didn't take very long, it's also a very short video. I think it's around 11 minutes if you're interested in the process of me making this camisole. But just to go over some of the main details, I used the Wandering Flock Cotton Lino in the color Poppy. And this bright red-orange color is so beautiful. I have a few other colors of the cotton lino so I can read you the composition of the yarn because it is quite different. And it is 35% organic cotton, 30% mulberry silk, 20% linen, and 15% baby alpaca. So it's very soft, very drapey, and it doesn't feel too warm. But I also haven't worn it on a super hot day yet, just because today it is quite cool. It's on the cooler side. We're at 24 degrees Celsius, and I'll have the Fahrenheit up here as well. I grew up in Canada, so I'm still getting used to Fahrenheit, and I'm not very good at converting off the top of my head. This yarn is a sport weight yarn at 100 grams and 328 yards per 100 grams. I used the entire skein, and I think when I weighed this project, it weighed just over 100 grams at 100.2 or 100.3. So I just went down the body until I was at a length where I didn't have any more yarn left, and then I bound off. And because the hem doesn't have any ribbing, I didn't have any guesswork, and it's done with a knit two together through the back loop bind off, so the hem didn't take that much yarn as well. I'll come close to show you some of the details that I really like of this camisole. First, I really like how the slip stitch straps cover up my bra straps, as well as that the v-neck isn't super low. The back also isn't super low, but at the same time, it's not super high. So I think it sits at a really good point mid-back. And Alex says that you can wear this either with this side forward facing or the back side forward facing. I like the v-neck to be forward facing just because I like v-necks in general. One other thing is that the join in the middle of the v-neck is so nice because it's with two stitches. When you do the front panel, then you cross the two stitches over from the right and the left, so there's no weird gaping, and there is also an end that is done here, so you can also weave in your ends so that there is no gaping. So that's what I chose to do, and I also enjoy that the underarm isn't too low where it shows any of the straps, so it's a very bra-friendly garment for me, and I really enjoy that about it. This tank is knit on US 7 4.5mm needle, and so you can use a different variety of yarn. I know some people use worsted weight yarn, some people use two fingering held together. I think Alex used some kind of cotton boucle or a wavy type of cotton yarn for hers, and I really like my version where it's very drapey, it's on a sport weight. I love how this fabric is very breathable but also is not see-through. So when I wear a black undergarment underneath it, you can definitely see it and see the outline. When I wear nude undergarments, you can't see anything, so I'm very happy about that. The garment is also meant to be worn with a 0 to 2 inches of negative ease, and I think I have a little bit of negative ease, although with wear, I think because this is a cotton linen yarn, it kind of did stretch out a little bit, so I have a little more ease than I did initially when I first flocked it. And I knit a size 2, and the sizes for this garment go up all the way to a 60-inch circumference. So you can definitely choose the amount of ease you want based on your comfort levels. Overall, I'm so happy that I test knit this garment. It was so well written, as Alex's patterns always are. And I'm so happy that I was able to get through it quickly and that I'm able to show it to you, because I feel like this is a really versatile tank top that I'll knit time and time again. My next finished object is on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, and it is Home for Christmas by Renard Under Me. And Renard Under Me is her name on Ravelry as well as on Instagram, and the designer's name is Morgane, and she's a French designer, but this pattern is 100% in English. So this is also a test knit, of course, because I also wouldn't be knitting a Christmas sweater this early on, but I mean, if I'm super prepared, maybe I would. This is a test knit. I tested the smallest size, so I was able to get it done quite quickly. This is the child 4 to 6 year old size, and this sweater goes all the way up to men's 4XL, which I think ends at a 61.4-inch bust. This is a worsted weight wool garment, so it is quite heavy, or it's quite hefty, and I made it long on purpose so that my daughter is able to get multiple years of wear out of it, because I'm just not sure how much wear she'll get this year, because she is so fixated on the color pink, and the sweater does not have too much pink in it. However, I was able to get her to stand for some photos, so hopefully you'll be seeing some of that up on the screen as well. Some of the details that I want to point out in this garment is that the body is done on a US 6, a 4mm needle, and I followed the pattern exactly. I really enjoyed the motif of the red car with the Christmas tree. I always love the motif, and I think that the sweater also just shows it so well. I love the color work chart on this. Morgane also does suggest doing ladder back jacquard on the sweater. If you are knitting the adult size, your floats might be quite long, but for the children's size, I just did trap my floats, and I think that it worked perfectly. One thing that I kind of want to do with this is that on one of the trees, I kind of want to go in and double stitch over it with some colored yarn, very bright pinks and bright yellows, to kind of signify Christmas lights, and I think that might be really cute. For now, this is fine, but I think that when I get into more of a festive mood, that might be what I do, because it is something that I just thought of and then I couldn't get it out of my head. So I'll ask the designer if it's okay before she releases the pattern, and then we'll see what it looks like after I do it. It might not work out, who knows. The yarn that I use for this project is also leftover yarn that I just had sitting around, so I'm so happy to be able to have used a lot of it. Most of it is Wool of the Knit Picks Wool of the Andes worsted, and so the navy is Midnight Heather, the red is Papaya Heather, and it's a very heathered red-orange color, and the white is just white. The green for this is Cascade Yarns Quattro, and I'll put the color number up here. It's a since discontinued yarn that I got from Maddie at Via Thread Knits, and she got it from her former nanny baby's grandma, which is a phrase that I say over and over again, but I just want to say that it went into very good use for the Christmas trees, and I think that these evergreen trees, because of that variation in the Quattro yarn, look so good, and the dimensions are really nice. One thing that I want to also state is that when I put this on my daughter, I do have to roll up these sleeves because her fingers sometimes kind of do get caught on the floats. Even though the floats lay flat, her fingers are just so small, and my kids also don't claw their hands super well when they're putting on clothes. They kind of stretch it out, so I just want to be extra careful, and that's how I put it on her. She seems to have been fine wearing a wool garment to take pictures on in the heat, but at the same time, we just took pictures with it, and she hasn't ever taken it out for a ride, so we'll see when the weather gets cooler how much wear this gets, but I'm just so happy with it, and I'm really happy that I decided to keep the long length instead of cropping it so that she can get more than a year's worth of wear out of it, hopefully. So the sweater is something that I'll also let you know when it does come out, and this I think will be a super popular design just because it's so cute, and I really enjoyed doing the color work chart on this as well. Next, I have a couple of objects that I was hesitant on even showing, but because I'm so happy with how they turned out, I've crocheted this multiple times, so it is a crochet piece. I'm not that great at doing crochet, but I can follow YouTube tutorials, and this is by Tony Lipsy, and it is the Hexi Puff coaster, and I think I kept saying it wrong in my small projects video, but I'll have a link to my small projects video where I go over this Home for Christmas sweater, as well as my next finished object, which is a gnome that I'll show you in a second. But this I made because I had previously knit this and I got a pattern for a linen stitch washcloth or a kitchen towel from the Jimmy Bean subscription that my husband signed me up for, I think in 2023. And with that came a Cascade Yarns Nifty Cotton, and it is in the color Lagoon as well as Vibrant Bloom, I think, but I'll have it on the screen for sure because I'm not 100% sure on the color name. But I liked it, but I didn't want to do a linen stitch again just because linen stitch does take so long, especially with it being knit. And although I like how flat it is on one side and how bumpy it is on the other and that it is reversible, it just took a long time. And because it is a kitchen item, I wasn't sure how much time I wanted to invest in it. I knew that I wanted to make some more of these coasters because I get a lot of use out of it. And I know when I gift it to my friends get a lot of use out of it too. It's really good as pot holders for when you're eating ramen or whatever and you have hot pots on it is what I use it for the most. But it can be used for other things too, I guess. And I made my version slightly larger than how Tony has it in her tutorial. She has 6 of these rows, but I put 7 just to make it slightly larger. And then I followed the pattern exactly. And I'm so happy with how they turn out every time. So I would highly recommend this pattern. It's free. You can either get it on her website or you can follow the YouTube tutorial as I have. And with that, I want to show you my last finished object, and that is my gnome for August. So I've been making a gnome every month. My August gnome looks like it should be a July gnome for 4th of July, but I made it in August, so it's remaining in August. And this will be my gnome entry for August. So for this, I used the Coats & Co. Floral Palette Pack for the dark red as well as this navy color. And I'm unsure of what these colors are called because I got it in a palette pack in a pack of mini skeins, and I got it at Flockfire Festival last year when I went. The bright red is West Yorkshire Spinner Signature 4-ply in the color 1000 Rouge. And the undyed yarn is the Plymouth Yarn Co. Dye For Me Happy Feet in the color Natural, so it's meant to be dyed, but whenever I use it, I never find that it bleeds. I really like the feeling of it, so I'm really happy that I have it. So for this gnome, the things that I did separately from the pattern is, of course, from Gnomes of Grimblewood by Sarah Shira. Sorry, I should have said. This is Noodles by Sarah Shira, and it's a part of her book, Gnomes of Grimblewood, and it is the first pattern in the book, and I think it's one of the smallest gnomes in the book. So for this, I did stripe the body just because I didn't have enough of this dark red color, but I wanted to put it. And then as I put these colors together, I realized that it looked very Americana-ish just because of the navy, the red stripes, as well as the white beard. And then I decided to just haphazardly kind of add stars on it. And I think it turned out quite cute. And I've been really enjoying embroidering or adding extra details to my gnomes, especially because I really like the Noodles pattern in that I have it memorized. It's small, it's easy, it's very portable. But I also like to add a little bit more interest just because I have been making so many gnomes, as you can see in my background. For now, the gnome will live back here, and then when it comes closer to Christmas, I'll have my sister take a bunch of gnomes because I know she likes to gift it to her in-laws and her side of the family, my younger sister. Next, I'd like to jump into works in progress, and I want to start off with my oldest work in progress, and that is the Dagmar Jacket by Petite Knit. This I'm knitting with Cascade 220 in the color 9560, which is Liberty Heather, and it's this really pretty navy, but if you look closely, there's a lot of red mixed in. So I really like how it looks, and I think that it's turning up really well. This I'm buddy knitting with my friend Maddie at By a Thread Knits, and we started it in early July, and we had a plan to finish it by end of August. And then so for that, I put in milestones of when we should have each piece finished by. And so I'm following that, even though I know that Maddie most likely won't be able to reach the end goal by August 31st, just because she's going to school, she has a job, and she's also working on a bunch of different projects, whereas I like to focus on one project at a time. So I think I had a stronger advantage there in terms of trying to get this done. And also I think Maddie hadn't done as many cabling projects before, so it makes sense that it would take longer for her. Although she did say she finished the back yoke, and I think she started on the front panels, but also I'm not sure if she's joined in the round yet. So just today I did the button band as well as the collar because I set the goal to have the collar done by August 17th, and then from the 18th to the 31st is when I said I'd work on sleeves. So I'm leaving the sleeves to be worked on at those dates. I will actually stand up and show you what it looks like on currently because I want to wet block it completely and then do the sleeves just so I know exactly how long I would like the sleeves to go, because it is a drop shoulder, so I'm guessing that the cabling will also stretch out quite a bit, and it's already feeling quite hefty. I think this has maybe around 400 grams of yarn in it. But also the button band didn't take as much yarn as I thought it would. It only took 30 grams from the button band as well as the collar, because it's not actually that many rows. So I was able to do the button band and the collar in a day. Trying not to disturb my mic, this is what it currently looks like. I put in stitch markers for where the buttons would go, and this is where the buttonholes lie. And I really like the length of this on me, and I think that when I block it, it will also lengthen a little bit widthwise and vertically. So I'm really happy with how it sits right now, but I think after I block it, I'll be even happier. Before I started filming today, I had just finished doing the Italian bind off, which is why my ends aren't weaved in, but I think I might just end up blocking it while my kids aren't here, and then I'll weave in the ends after when it's all dry. So by the next sit down video, hopefully I'll have the project vlog on the Dagmar jacket up, as well as I'll be able to show you what it looks like all done finally, and I'll be so happy to get it off my list because this is a project that I've started once before in December, and then I ended up ripping it out in July, and I restarted in July. And it's a part of my Make 9, so I'll be so happy to have that done. My next work in progress is one that I thought would be a finished object today to show you, but it's not. It's still a work in progress, and this is the Venilia top by Sari Nordland. So for this, all I have to do is just work down the body around 10 more centimeters or 4 inches before doing the hem, which is just a purl row and then some stockinette, and you weave it in at the end. So I think that I've done it for the couture top. The shape of this is exactly the same as the couture top, and so I think that it'll be really nice. It'll fit nicely, and this will be a gift knit for my mom. The reason I haven't finished this is because I only have 3 balls of the Knitting for Olive pure silk in the color raspberry pink, but I need 4. So I should have bought 4, but I didn't know that it would go into this project before, and I decided to hold the yarn double. So this is where I'm holding it double, and then when the new ball comes, it's supposed to arrive on Monday, I will cut the yarn and just hold 2 strands together so that it marls, just in case it's a different dye lot and it kind of shows differently. The Venilia top is a DK weight top with this beautiful lace detailing, which I'm not sure if you'll be able to see very well, but I think that when I actually block it and try it on, then everything will open up and it will look really good. And I'm really happy with the way this is going because I was trying to do some yarn management. I also went up 3 needle sizes, I think it is, so that I did the body on US 7 4.5 millimeter needles. And I think in the book it recommends a US 4, a 3.5 millimeter needle. So definitely went up a whole millimeter, and it has a looser gauge, but it's not see-through because I'm holding 2 strands of the pure silk double, and so I think that it worked out well. And I think when I tried it on, the size is also pretty good. I'm knitting the size 3, but I'm hoping that it comes out to the measurements of a size 4 because my mom likes wearing these types of tops on top of t-shirts, so it should be a little looser. And so I'm really happy with how this is turning up. I will definitely keep you updated on how this turns up. My mom and dad are leaving in the beginning of September, so the next time I show you this project, I probably will just have pictures and I won't have this in my hands. But I'm really happy with the way this is coming along, and I can't wait for the next ball of yarn to get here because I don't think I need 50 grams of it. I think I'll probably end up using maybe 20, maybe 10 to 20, I think is my guess, for how much yarn I need to finish this project. I have a third work in progress, which is completely out of field for me because usually I have 1, maybe 2, but because one is on hold, the other is also on hold, I decided to cast on something new, and this is the Prospect Pullover by Tori Yu, and I'm also test knitting this. This is a drop shoulder pullover, and I'm holding 2 yarns double, which I'll show you in a second, but I'm already loving how the stitches are coming out and the stitch definition is. For this, I'm using Madeline Tosh Merino Light in the color Turn, as well as Madeline Tosh Silk Cloud in the color Great Gray Owl, and together I think it holds really beautifully. And the shades of gray in this are really fun to work up, and also the stitch patterning is quite fun, so I'm guessing that this is a pullover that's going to be very fun to work on and get done relatively quickly. I'm test knitting the size 2 in this, and that should give me around 10 inches of positive ease, because at size 2 it is at 44 inches and Tori's patterns are always size inclusive. I think for this pattern she recommends 6 to 10 inches of positive ease. I'll have more details on just this pullover and everything that goes with it as I work more through it, but I just started it today and I'm really happy with the way this is coming along. I'm really excited to also knit one of Tori's patterns because it's my first time knitting her pattern, and I've heard just so many great things about her pattern from my friend Stephanie at Edible Thoughts Makes, as well as a lot of my other friends. And so I'm just really happy to have started this project. Those are my finished objects and my works in progress. And now I'd like to talk about my plans and acquisitions. And really there's only one plan that has propped up in the meantime, and that is the Misty Pines pullover or Misty Pines sweater by Michelle of Mishi Fraz Knits. And so I decided to sign up for the test knit because I think the color work is beautiful. But for that, I'm not sure exactly what yarns I'm going to be using yet, so I have to really dig around to see what I have versus what I think I need to get, because it is a color work sweater and the colors need to be somewhat coordinated, and I think there are around 6 colors for the color work portion, so I'll have to choose wisely. But I wanted to mention it because I think it's a beautiful pullover and I'm really excited to start. Next, I want to talk about some acquisitions, and first is a gift from my friend Catherine, and Catherine sent me a set of postcards. I think they're from a brand called Minuk, M-I-N-U-K, and she said she got it in Poland, and I wanted to show it to you because I think they're very cute. This one says, "Life is better in a sweater." This one says, "Being soft is not a crime." This one says, "Everyday Knit Club." And my favorite is "Knitting Through the Chaos." And so I'm thinking I want to post these maybe back here and have it just be a part of my background because they're too precious to be used as actual postcards to send to people, and they're so cute. So thank you so much, Catherine. She's an in real life friend. And oh, speaking of Catherine, we met at Knit Night on Mondays, hosted by Tea Cozy Yarn Shop at Rough and Tumble Pub here in Ballard in Seattle. And I also want to mention that the hair clip I'm wearing is the Peach Fuzz Co. and it's the knitting hair claw clip. And Catherine and I got it together because of a recommendation, because we were influenced by somebody who came to Knit Night, and that somebody is Maddie, another Maddie, and she works as a nurse. She came to Knit Night and I'm so happy to have it. I think it's very cute. Other than the postcards, a few acquisitions I want to show are acquisitions I actually got at Michael's, and it's very, very inexpensive. It was very reasonably priced, I think. This is dishcloth yarn, but it's loops and thread classic cotton, and the lighter one is in chambray and the darker one is in royal blue. And I also picked this up, and this is the Susan Bates handy tool, and I've never seen this before, but since I posted about it, a lot of people have commented that they really like it. And it's one where it has a knitting needle on one side and a crochet hook on the other, and I'm just really excited to be able to use this, but I wanted to show it in the video first because I think this is so useful in terms of picking up stitches. I think somebody said that they were able to use it as a cable needle when they were in a pinch, and so I'm really excited to have this in my notions bag. And I think the next time I visit Michael's, I'll probably end up picking up a couple more of these so that I can have it in each of my notions pouches so that I can have it for every project. And I think my kids are home now, so they're kind of crying in the background, and hopefully I'll be able to reduce the noise, but I really want to talk about the giveaway, so I'll just do that really quickly and then I'll go join them. Thank you so much for your support. I'm really happy to have met the milestone of 2,000 subscribers, and I've never could have imagined it. When I was at Flock Fiber Festival and people recognized me, it was also very new. And I'm just really happy to be here and also to share what I love and what I do every day. So thank you so much for being here. With that being said, the giveaway that I have prepared, I have gone through a lot of the things that I have, and I recently acquired a lot of yarn, and so I have yarn that I know that I'm not going to get to, so I'm planning on giving these away. This is open domestically and internationally. You don't need to worry about shipping. However, I'm not sure how the tariffs will work, so I'm not sure if you'll have to pay anything once you receive it, but I'll make sure that the cost on these that are written down for customs, it remains very low. How this giveaway will work is all you have to do is like, subscribe, and also comment in this video, and I will give you a few options, and you can comment as many options as you want. So please leave it in one comment, but you could put 1, 2, 3, pattern. And so I will show you the options now. First, I'd like to give away this, which is a Woolberry Berry sock set, and it's 80% superwash BFL, 20% nylon, 400 yards per 100 grams, and there are 4 hanks in here. And so I don't think I'll be able to get to this. This was a Christmas gift from my sister, and it was a mystery skein set, but I don't think I'll be able to get to it. So I'd like to give it away because I've never opened it. It's always remained in this bag, and I think it's beautiful, but I know I just won't get to it. This will be the first option, so you just have to comment 1. And for the second option, I also have some sock skeins. This is Golden Hour Knitwear. It's called Sock Crazy Sock Skein, and so it looks like this. I also have this Lolo Did It plush sock in the colorway I Love Carl, and it's a blue color with some gray mixed in, as well as a mystery skein. And I'm pretty sure I know what the name is, and I'll put it up here, but I just don't have the tag for it. So this will be 2. And for the third option, I also have more sock yarn. It is Cascade Yarn Heritage Prints. It is in the color 124. I think this might have been called Ice Rink. And it knits up like this, as well as Retrosaria Pomar Mondim in the color M82, as well as Make Your Socks, Make Your Steps, Slow Step sock yarn, and this is in the color 120 blue. And I got this in Korea, so there is some Korean on it. And so this will be 3. 1, 2, and 3 will go to 3 different winners. And in addition to this, to 3 other people, I'd also like to gift you a indie published pattern on Ravelry. And so for that, I would need your Ravelry handle. If you do win, you don't need to give it to me right away. But also in the comment, please let me know what your fall knitting plans are and what pattern you would like to make that you don't have already if you are entering for the pattern. Because it gets quite complicated logistically, I don't think I can do it where I give you extra entry if you're only entering for patterns this time. And for that, I'm sorry. And so for this, in a comment, for example, if you're only interested in option 1, 3 and patterns, you can just put 1, 3 patterns and let me know which ones you'd like. But please make sure you spell it correctly so that your chances are actually there, because I'll be doing keyword generator. I'm really excited to be able to give away some of the yarn that I think other people will really enjoy, and also to be gifting you patterns, of course, because I feel like it's a very accessible way for me to give you some of the gratitude I have for you joining this community here. I hope that wasn't confusing, and I hope you enjoyed everything that I talked through in this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great summer or winter if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, and I will catch you next time. If you can, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.